A child is crying alone in a mansion. Her mother just left for the hospital. Again. The man climbing the stairs toward her bedroom isn't family. He's the janitor. And what he's about to do will shatter everything this wealthy surgeon thought she knew about her own daughter. Because right now, she's standing behind a half-open door, listening to her child laugh for the first time in months. At a stranger, singing a lullaby in the dark. His name is Benjamin Cole, 41, single father. He cleans this mansion for $11 an hour. But 7 years ago, he was a pediatric nurse who saved lives until grief destroyed his career. His wife died of pancreatic cancer. 3 months later, exhausted and broken, he made a dosage error during a code blue. The child survived. His license didn't. Now he polishes marble floors in a house that costs more than he'll earn in 3 lifetimes, raising his 8-year-old daughter Sophie alone. Tonight, the owner, Dr. Olivia Morrison, chief of pediatric surgery, left for her night shift. The nanny left early. Again. And 8-year-old Emma Morrison is crying in a bedroom bigger than Ben's entire apartment. If you believe the most important work happens when nobody's watching, subscribe now. Your support shares stories about kindness that changes lives in ways the world never sees. I can't sleep, Emma whispers, when Ben appears in her doorway, drawn by the sound of her crying. I'm scared, and Mommy left again, and the medicine makes my stomach hurt. Before he can answer, Sophie appears beside him. She's been doing homework in the kitchen, waiting for her dad to finish work. Dad, maybe you could sing to her, like you do for me? Ben hesitates. This is his employer's child. This could cost him everything. But he sits on the edge of the bed and sings the lullaby his dead wife used to sing. His voice is rough, untrained, but Emma's crying stops. She smiles. That's pretty. Will you sing it again? And that's when Olivia Morrison, standing behind the door with her forgotten stethoscope, feels her world crack open. She came back for the stethoscope. She expected silence. Instead, she's watching her daughter laugh, holding hands with the janitor's daughter like they're already friends. Tears stream down Olivia's face as she listens to her child experience joy from a man she pays to clean toilets. Dr. Olivia Morrison is 36 and brilliant, chief of pediatric surgery at Mercy Heights Medical Center, youngest department head in the hospital's history. She's saved over 300 children through heart surgeries most surgeons won't attempt, but she's home maybe 6 hours daily, half of that sleeping. Emma was diagnosed at age 6 with juvenile idiopathic arthritis, a chronic autoimmune condition affecting nearly 300,000 U.S. children, causing joint inflammation, pain, and stiffness. It's manageable with disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs and physical therapy, not life-threatening, but it requires consistent care and presence, things Olivia doesn't provide. Tonight, she was scheduled for emergency surgery on a newborn with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, a critical defect where the left ventricle is severely underdeveloped. Without intervention, 95% of these infants die within the first month. She's performed this procedure 57 times, never lost one. She kissed Emma goodnight and left. The nanny left 15 minutes later. Emma was alone. Until the janitor heard her crying. The lullaby ends. Emma's eyes are heavy. Will you sing tomorrow too? Ben glances at Sophie, now sitting cross-legged on the floor. I work here every evening. If you need me to sing, I'll sing. Emma takes his hand. You're nicer than the nannies. They don't like me. That's not true, Ben says gently. They just don't know you yet. Sophie climbs onto the bed. My dad sings when I miss my mom. She died, but the song makes it hurt less. Emma stares. Your mom died too? Yeah, But I have my dad. We take care of each other. I wish my mom was here more, Emma whispers. Ben's chest tightens. He knows this pain. Maybe she could be, if you told her how you feel. Emma's voice is tiny. I did. She said she's saving other kids, that it's important. Ben understands. He used to make the same excuses. It is important. But so are you. Sometimes grown-ups forget what they're working for. Outside the door, Olivia covers her mouth, silent tears falling. She should announce herself. She can't move, can't breathe, can't do anything but watch her daughter fall asleep to a stranger's kindness. Ben tucks Emma in, stands quietly. In the hallway, he nearly collides with Olivia. Surgical scrubs, wet face, staring at him like she's seeing him for the first time in 8 months. Dr. Morrison, I thought you'd left. Emma was crying. The nanny was gone. I'm sorry if I overstepped. No. Olivia's voice breaks. You did what I should have done, what I've failed to do for months. She looks past him at Emma, finally peaceful. How long have you been doing this? Tonight was the first time, but I can check on her before I leave each evening if you'd like. Olivia really looks at him now. Worn jacket, kind eyes, daughter in second-hand clothes. What's your daughter's name? Sophie. She's 8, same age as Emma. You bring her while you work. Sometimes, when I don't have childcare. I hope that's all right. Olivia whispers. It's more than all right. Thank you for seeing her when I didn't. Everything shifts. Olivia comes home earlier now. Not every night. She's the only pediatric cardiothoracic surgeon within 100 miles who can repair certain complex congenital defects. But more often. 2 weeks later, she arrives at 9 p.m. to find Emma and Sophie frosting cookies with Ben. Terrible cookies, too much icing, sprinkles everywhere. Emma is laughing. Actually laughing. Mommy, look what we made. Ben said I could bake because I did all my physical therapy. Olivia stays, pours coffee, sits at her own table like a guest, watches her daughter experience joy. How was surgery? Ben asks. No one ever asks. Successful, 3-month-old with transposition of the great arteries. We performed arterial switch operation, reconnected the aorta and pulmonary artery to the correct ventricles. He'll live normally now. You saved his life today, Ben says with genuine admiration. Emma told me you were a nurse, that something sad happened and you stopped. Ben's jaw tightens. She talks a lot. She trusts you. Olivia pauses. She asked if Sophie could come over weekends. I won't take money for my daughter having a friend. Something cracks in Olivia's chest. Would Saturday work? Saturdays become sacred. The girls play. Ben stays for coffee, then lunch, then conversations on the patio, while their daughters chase butterflies. They talk about medicine, loss, single parenthood. I'm failing her, Olivia admits. I save strangers' children and fail my own. She said she wishes I loved her as much as I love surgery. You're not failing. You're scared, Ben says quietly. After my wife died, I worked double shifts thinking if I saved enough kids, it would balance the scales. It doesn't. You just end up exhausted and alone. How did you stop? I crashed, made a mistake that cost me everything. But you don't have to crash, Olivia. You can choose to change before the system forces you. The hospital needs me. The hospital will always need you. But Emma only gets one childhood, and she's spending it waiting. Olivia wipes her eyes. I don't know if I can change. Start small. 1 hour earlier twice this week. Trust that the hospital survives without you. His voice gentles. Because if you don't choose to change, eventually something will force you, and by then it might be too late. If you believe presence matters more than success, share this. Comment, be there, if the people who love you need your time more than your achievements. 6 weeks later, Emma's former nanny reports Olivia to Child Protective Services. The allegation: Dr. Morrison leaves her medically vulnerable daughter overnight with an unlicensed male caretaker. The investigation is brutal. A caseworker interviews Emma alone. Has Mr. Cole ever touched you inappropriately? Ever hurt you? Ever told you to keep secrets? Emma cries through the entire interrogation. Then they interview Olivia at the hospital. Doctor, you're aware your caretaker lost his nursing license? Yes. Dosage error during mental health crisis. Every medical board cleared him. He's trustworthy. You left your immunocompromised daughter in his overnight care. She's not immunocompromised. Juvenile arthritis is autoimmune, not immunosuppressive. And I left her with a former pediatric nurse with more training than any nanny. A single man, alone with a vulnerable child. The optics are concerning. Olivia's voice turns ice. The concerning thing is a kind man helped my scared daughter. If you're suggesting something inappropriate, say it directly. The caseworker doesn't, but the report goes to the hospital board. Dr. Richard Hastings, hospital CEO, slides the CPS report across his desk. This is a problem. Your judgment is being questioned. That I trusted a qualified, vetted professional to care for my daughter? That the chief of pediatric surgery makes decisions that look reckless? You're a public figure. Your personal life affects our brand. When you make questionable choices, donors ask questions. My personal life is my business. Not when it threatens your credibility. The board is asking you to terminate his employment. Find someone more appropriate. More appropriate meaning what? Someone without a tragic past? Someone who didn't grieve? Someone who doesn't create liability. Ben Cole is why my daughter is happy for the first time in 2 years. He lost his license. For one mistake during grief. I've made surgical mistakes too, Richard. Mine get buried in M&M conferences. His ended his career. Hastings's voice hardens. This isn't a debate, it's a directive. Terminate him, or we reconsider your position. Olivia looks at him steadily. Then find my replacement, because I'm not firing the man who taught me what being a parent means. That evening, Ben comes to the estate. He knows. The hospital called, asked about my time alone with Emma. The board demanded I fire you. They're threatening my position. Then fire me, Ben says immediately. You save lives, children's lives. That matters more than what? My daughter's happiness? More than showing her some things matter more than reputation? More than second chances? Olivia's voice rises. You didn't abandon Emma. I'm not abandoning you. What are you going to do? Something I should have done years ago. Choose what matters. The next morning, Olivia calls an emergency all-staff meeting. Over 500 people pack the auditorium. Nurses, doctors, administrators, janitors, everyone. Olivia stands at the podium. No notes, just truth. I'm Dr. Olivia Morrison, Chief of Pediatric Surgery. I've performed over 300 successful heart surgeries, published 47 papers, won awards. She pauses. And 6 weeks ago, I almost lost my daughter anyway. Not to disease, to loneliness, to my own absence. Silence. My daughter has juvenile arthritis, daily pain, and I left her with rotating nannies while I worked 70-hour weeks, telling myself I was saving lives, until I came home one night and heard something I hadn't heard in a year, my daughter laughing. Her voice strengthens. The person making her laugh was my janitor, Benjamin Cole, former pediatric nurse who lost his license 7 years ago after a dosage error during mental health crisis following his wife's cancer death. The error harmed no one. Boards cleared him. But the system decided one mistake during his worst moment would define him forever. Olivia scans the crowd. Ben heard my daughter crying alone. The nanny left early. I was here, doing important work. He could have ignored her. Instead, he sat on her bed and sang a lullaby. My child, who barely smiled, laughed. She pulls out a folder. Yesterday, the board demanded I fire him. Bad optics, compromised judgment. But here's what compromised my judgment. Believing my career mattered more than my child. Believing saving other children excused absence from my own. She holds up the folder. I've reviewed Ben's case. Every board cleared him. Every supervisor praised him pre-incident. The mistake was procedural, not criminal. The only reason he's not practicing is because our system punishes grief and treats human error as permanent moral failure. Her voice rises. So I'm formally recommending Benjamin Cole's license be reinstated. I'm personally sponsoring his application, and I'm proposing Second Chance Healthcare, a program to hire and support medical professionals who've been disciplined, made errors, or left due to trauma. We'll provide mentorship and mental health support. We'll prove Mercy Heights believes in redemption. Dr. Hastings stands. Dr. Morrison, this is inappropriate. What's inappropriate is preaching compassionate care while destroying people for being human. Ben is exactly who we need, someone who's experienced loss, made mistakes, and still shows up with kindness. She looks at Hastings directly. You want to protect our reputation. We announce Second Chance Healthcare. We prove this hospital values healing over punishment. Her voice drops, fierce. And if you'd rather fire me than support this, I'll resign and make sure every news outlet knows Mercy Heights fired their chief of pediatric surgery for believing in second chances. Silence. Then someone in back starts clapping. A nurse, then another, then a resident. Within seconds, everyone is standing. Thunderous applause. Doctors who've made mistakes and lived in fear. Nurses who've worked exhausted wondering when they'd break. They're standing, clapping, some crying, because someone finally said what they've all felt. Hastings's face goes red, but he's surrounded, outnumbered, outmaneuvered. Ben, in the back row, stares in disbelief, tears streaming down his face. After, Olivia finds him in the hallway. Why did you risk everything? He asks, voice breaking. Because you taught me that showing up for one person with your whole heart matters more than impressing thousands with credentials. You did the right thing when it cost you everything. My turn. She smiles. Also, Emma said, if I didn't fix this, she'd run away and live with you and Sophie. I believed her. Ben laughs through tears. She's terrifyingly determined. Gets it from her mother, apparently. 6 months later, Ben's license is reinstated. He's hired as Mercy Heights' first patient-family liaison under Second Chance Healthcare. He helps families navigate diagnoses, sits with frightened children pre-surgery, trains staff in trauma-informed care. Sophie and Emma attend the same school now, inseparable. Weekends, both families share dinner, sometimes at the estate, sometimes at Ben's apartment. The walls between their lives have dissolved. 1 year after that lullaby, Ben stands in the hospital lobby for a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Behind him, etched glass reads, Second Chance Healthcare Initiative, founded in honor of those who heal after being broken. 53 medical professionals hired through the program. A former paramedic with PTSD, a nurse who made a medication error and quit in shame, a surgeon whose hands trembled after a patient death until therapy helped her return. Emma, now 9, her arthritis in full remission thanks to new biologic therapy, tocilizumab, an IL-6 inhibitor showing remarkable results in juvenile idiopathic arthritis, holds oversized scissors. Olivia stands beside Ben, their hands touching, months of slowly, carefully falling in love. Cameras flash, the board watches, staff, patients, families applaud. Emma cuts the ribbon. It falls in 2 pieces. She looks at Ben. Did I do it right? Perfect. She turns to her mother. Are you staying for the whole party? Or do you have surgery? Olivia kneels eye level. I'm staying. I rearranged my schedule. Tonight is yours. Promise? Promise. No pager, no emergencies, just us. Emma hugs her tightly. Sarah watches, heart full in a way he thought impossible after losing his wife. Olivia stands, reaches for his hand. Thank you for teaching me the most important surgery I'll ever perform is removing barriers between me and people who need me. He squeezes her hand. Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible. The cameras capture it. A surgeon and a former janitor, their daughters beside them, standing under a sign promising, broken people can heal and help others heal too. That night, after the ceremony, after putting both girls to bed in Olivia's house, their house now, slowly, carefully, they sit on the patio. I never learned the lullaby, Olivia says quietly. You want to? I want to sing to my daughter when you're not there. I want to know the song that brought us together. So there, under stars, in a house that used to echo with expensive emptiness, but now holds laughter and love and sleeping children, Ben teaches Olivia the lullaby. His voice rough and real, hers uncertain but trying. Together, imperfect and whole. 1 year later, the Second Chance Healthcare Program expands statewide. Ben testifies before the state medical board about reinstatement protocols. Emma and Sophie, now 10, volunteer at the hospital's Child Life program, teaching other kids with chronic illness that pain doesn't define them. Olivia reduces her surgical schedule to 50 hours weekly, still intense, but present. She hasn't missed a single one of Emma's physical therapy appointments in 14 months. Ben still sings the lullaby every night, Emma asks. Sometimes Olivia joins him, her voice stronger now, the words coming easier. They marry quietly 2 years after that rainy night. No grand wedding, just Emma and Sophie as flower girls, a handful of friends, and vows about showing up, staying present, choosing each other daily. On their wedding night, while the girls sleep at a friend's house, Ben and Olivia sit on their patio, the same spot where she first admitted she was failing as a mother. Do you ever think about what would have happened if you'd driven past that night? Olivia asks. If you'd ignored Emma crying? Ben considers. I think about it sometimes, how one decision changed everything. Why did you stop, really? Because I heard a child crying alone, and I remembered what it felt like to be too late. I was too late for Sarah. I couldn't be too late again. Olivia takes his hand. You weren't too late. You were exactly on time. For Emma, for me, for all of us. He kisses her forehead. So were you. When you chose her over your career, when you fought for my license, when you built something that helps broken people heal, you were exactly on time too. 3 years after the lullaby, Ben receives a letter. It's from the Army Medical Corps. They've reviewed his discharge, his subsequent work, the Second Chance Healthcare program he helped create. They're offering him a position, Director of Combat Medic Resilience Training, teaching active duty medics how to process trauma, prevent burnout, and continue serving after loss. The salary is substantial. The impact, immeasurable. The catch, it requires relocation to Fort Sam Houston, Texas. He shows Olivia. She reads it twice. This is incredible. This is everything you've worked toward. It's in Texas. Emma's care team is here. Your career is here. Sophie's school. We'll figure it out, Olivia interrupts. The same way we figured out everything else. Together. You'd leave your position? The hospital you rebuilt? I'd follow the man who taught me that position isn't the same as purpose. She smiles. Besides, they have hospitals in Texas, probably some that need a pediatric surgeon who believes in second chances. 6 months later, the Rowan Morrison family, they hyphenated, moves to San Antonio. Emma and Sophie adjust quickly, making friends, exploring new places. Olivia joins a hospital system desperate for her expertise and thrilled about her patient-centered approach. Ben builds a training program that will touch thousands of combat medics, teaching them that saving themselves is as important as saving others. And every night, in a new house, in a new city, building a new life, Ben still sings the lullaby. Sometimes just to Emma, sometimes to Sophie. Sometimes Olivia joins, her voice now confident, the melody theirs. On the 5th anniversary of that rainy night, Emma, now 13, arthritis fully controlled, playing soccer, gives her parents a gift. It's a framed photo. The moment Ben carried her out of the rain years ago, taken from hospital security footage she requested. Below it, she's written in careful script, "To Dad and Mom. You taught me that family isn't who you're born to. It's who shows up when you're alone in the dark. Thank you for always showing up. Love, Emma." Ben and Olivia stand together, reading it, crying. Sophie hugs them both. "Are you sad?" she asks. "No," Ben says, "just grateful." "For what?" Olivia answers. "For rain, for lullabies, for second chances, for every moment that brought us here." Subscribe if you believe the most important moments happen when no one's watching. Comment, "I believe in showing up. If you know presence changes everything." Share this story with someone who needs to hear that broken people can heal and create beautiful things. Because sometimes the person who saves you isn't the one you expected. It's the one you never saw at all. And sometimes a lullaby in the dark is the beginning of everything.